Part 203. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 2022. After seeing off Huang Meli, Lu Ligan drove directly to the Hangzhou-Puzhu Expressway and returned to Hangzhou from Pudong Airport. There were fewer cars on the Hangzhou Expressway than on the Shanghai-Hangzhou Expressway. The cars were speeding on the expressway, but Lu Ligan felt empty in his heart. It was only one night, but Lu Ligan felt that a long time had passed. He had experienced more than 20 years of a person's life. It was like opening a heavy book in which other people's lives were written. Is also his own, or there are crisscrossing paths that connect the two parts together, making people feel empty and heavy at the same time. He and Huang Meli walked a long way together, and then broke up in the middle of the road. Lu Ligan believed that they would meet again, and he would go to their farm in Southern California to meet her husband and 3 children. Hui and Huang Meli walked on their farm all day, bringing water and dry food, although he still doesn't even know where Southern California is. It doesn't matter, he will definitely find her. When thinking like this, Lu Ligan felt a little rich in his heart. He felt that a certain part of the emptiness had been filled. Somewhere in this world, on the other side of the Pacific, there was someone he cared about very much. I also care about him very much. This kind of care is love, but it has nothing to do with love and desire. They have gone through many vicissitudes of life, and time has been enough to wash away the impulse of emotion and desire. It is good to face each other like two relatives and talk about it. Tears once again filled Lu Ligan's eyes. Lu Ligan cursed. He didn't expect how he could become so fragile and shed tears at every turn. After scolding him, he laughed again, feeling that this was okay. Very good, just be fragile. You are already in your 70s and 80s, what else can you pretend to be? The road ahead stretches on the Hangzhou Plain. The street trees on both sides of the road are still bare, but the green wheat in the fields shines through between the tree trunks, as if the spring can no longer be concealed, and the road in front of us stretches further and further. It becomes more and more slender, until it reaches far away, blending with the sky and the earth. Lu Ligan thought of the word redemption. He felt that Huang Meli was really here to redeem him. She hugged him, kissed him, and said to him, "Lao Ma, this is what I owe you." Then after leaving him running on the highway, Lu Ligan felt that something about him was different. He didn't know where it was different. Lu Ligan looked at his watch. At this time, Huang Meli should have boarded the plane. If the plane was on time, it would take off just in time. Lu Ligan bent his head and looked up at the sky through the front windshield. He did not see any plane fly by. The sky was blue. Regardless of what he was thinking, Lu Ligan sighed softly. Looking back, Lu Ligan felt like a prodigal son. Before he understood what love was, he encountered the love of so many women. Maybe it came too easily and dazzled him, so he squandered it indiscriminately. Stay until you are destitute. When the car arrived in Hangzhou and drove around the city, the blue sky outside became darker, but it still ignored what he was thinking. It was preparing for the night and putting on its makeup. Lu Ligan dialed Zhang Chen's number and asked him, "Have you had dinner?" "I was about to go eat." "What happened?" Zhang Chen asked. "Wait for me," Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen didn't say anything and hung up the phone, but Lu Ligan knew that he would definitely be waiting for him in the office. When Zhang Chen saw Lu Ligan walking in, he looked like a drowned rat. It wasn't that he was wet all over, but that his whole body was wilted. The hair that was stretched outwards was gathered up and clinging to his body. His body, and even the expression on his face, seemed to fly away from him. He was here, but his heart was still far away. Lu Ligan walked in the door and went directly to the sofa. He threw himself into the sofa and sighed heavily. Zhang Chen looked at him and continued to work on his own things on the computer. After working for a while, he looked up and saw Lu Ligan sitting there blankly. Zhang Chen stood up, walked over and sat down on the sofa. Zhang Chen asked. What's wrong? Zhang Chen, guess who I met in Shanghai? How do I know? Zhang Chen said, the king of hell or God? Or are they coming to find you together? Lu Ligan turned his head, looked at Zhang Chen and said, Huang Mele. I'm going, Zhang Chen shouted, are you reliving your old dreams? Dirty Lu Ligan said, we didn't do anything. She is already the mother of 3 children, and I am also the father of 2 children. We are not stupid, and we don't want to make our lives worse. It gets complicated. Lu Ligan looked at Zhang Chen and added, I'm used to doing subtraction. Nothing else is important. The most important thing is that you are together and doing nothing, Zhang Chen said. I'm not a porcupine, Lu Ligan snorted. Zhang Chen smiled and said, you have always been a porcupine, but not now. Lu Ligan rolled his eyes at him. The two of them arrived at the Tuxianjiayuan Hotel downstairs and found a seat against the wall in the lobby. Only then did Lu Ligan wake up and asked. What's going on? Why are we here to eat? Looking at your lost state, there are many people here, maybe they can bring your soul back, Zhang Chen said. Lu Ligan smiled, took the menu from the orderer's hand, and started ordering. Zhang Chen sat there, listening and feeling that something was wrong, and asked. Hey, why did you change your style? Lu Ligan was startled and then remembered that all the dishes he ordered were not too spicy. He smiled sheepishly and said. This is the menu that Huang Mele and I ordered at your Pudong Tuxiang garden at noon yesterday. Yu, Zhang Chen cursed, turned around and said to the orderer, that's invalid, you can arrange it for us. The ordering clerk took the menu away from Lu Ligan, smiled and said to Zhang Chen, okay, Mr. Zhang. The ordering clerk knows what they like to eat. She doesn't need to order, she can just place the order directly. The order clerk left. Zhang Chen looked at Lu Ligan and said, did you see that even our order clerk is more reliable than you? Seeing how absent-minded you are, hey, are you regretting it? What do you regret? Lu Ligan asked. I regret not having such a good opportunity to revisit my old dream with Huang Mele, Zhang Chen said. Get out of here, you're so filthy, Lu Ligan cursed, I feel like I've almost become a saint and can write Apostle Liu's biography. Okay, but remember to get a sterilization first, Zhang Chen said. It's unreasonable, Zhang Chen, I think I'm already a level above you, Lu Ligan said. Okay, you can be 50 levels higher than me, Zhang Chen nodded and said, however, if you are with Tan Shahen at night, don't be the same bedfellow. Can you give Tan Shahen a little sense of security? Wenwen has just left here. Another Huang Mele ran out from your place. Don't worry, these are 2 different things, Lu Ligan said. That's fine. As long as your body is not cheating, you still have 50 Platos in your heart, and I don't care about you, Zhang Chen remembered it, and said, I remind you, this Huang Mele has stimulated Tan Shahen, you be careful, don't be like a good humming baby, just keep your mouth shut if there's nothing wrong, just don't say anything. Lu Ligan was puzzled. He said, Huang Mele and Tan Shahen have nothing to do with each other, so why did they irritate her? Yes, the 2 of them are completely unrelated to each other, but it's different with you. Have you forgotten that you made a big fuss in Jakesi Tower back then? Zhang Chen reminded. Lu Ligan was stunned there, thinking about it, it seemed that something had happened. He drank too much that day, and talked nonsense in front of so many people in the theater troupe. These words all reached Tan Shahen's ears. At that time, in fact, he was drinking and acting crazy, hoping in his heart that these words would reach Tan Shahen. The words Tan Shahen said to you are still very annoying, so you should stop showing off your treasures, do you understand? Zhang Chen asked. I know, you're right to remind me, put the overall situation first, Lu Ligan nodded. Just understand, don't make any trouble. Zhang Chen said, taking the wool yanjai that the waiter brought over, and said to her, go and do your work, we will serve it ourselves. When the two of them were together, they drank white wine and didn't bother to use white wine glasses. Instead, they liked water glasses. The waiter knew them and brought 2 water glasses together. There was no white wine glass. Zhang Chen filled Lu Lipol's cup. He also filled himself up. The two of them raised their glasses, clinked them, took a sip, and agreed to drink 1/3 of the glass, the same depth. When the food came, Lu Ligan ate a few chopsticks of the food, raised his glass, and the two of them clinked, and half of the wine in the glass was gone. Lu Ligan seemed to have come back to his senses, and he said to Zhang Chen, "I want to tell you something else." "What's the matter?" Zhang Chen asked. "As for Renjia travel, I think the entire plan, including the entire train of thought, needs to be adjusted. I have an idea. Do you want to hear it?" "I don't want to," Zhang Chen said. "If you have any ideas, let's talk about it later. Don't talk about it while drinking. All you talk about now is drinking talk." "Okay, let's eat quickly and go to the office after eating," Lu Ligan said. As he spoke, Lu Ligan raised his glass again and touched it with Zhang Chen. The two of them drank it all in one gulp. Zhang Chen reached for the bottle. Lu Ligan took the lead and grabbed the bottle and put it under his arm. Cried, "No more, no more, I'm going back to the office to continue drinking." "Damn it, you didn't even bring the food," Zhang Chen scolded. Lu Ligan reached out and waved, and a waiter came over immediately. Lu Ligan said to her, "The food on the table, as well as the food that was not served, were packed for us and sent to his office." The waiter said, "Yes, Mr. Lu." Lu Ligan stood up, holding half a bottle of Wulianjai in his hand, and left without looking back. You." Zhang Chen held back the curse, shook his head, and stood up helplessly. The waiter looked at him and smiled with his lips pursed. Zhang Chen walked to the elevator room. The door of the elevator going up was open. Lu Ligan stretched out his hand to block the elevator door. While waiting for Zhang Chen walked in and cursed. "What the hum do you mean? It's like there's a lump in your throat, you can't spit it out quickly, and the wine doesn't taste good when you drink it," Lu Ligan said. "Who told you to be so pretentious and not talk about work while drinking? Then we'll move to your office to drink and see if you can still talk." Talk. The two of them walked into Zhang Chen's office. The waiter pushed the dining cart and brought the packaged dishes. Lu Ligan asked her to put them on the conference table. The waiter walked over and opened the food they brought together. He spread the tablecloth on the conference table, and then put the dishes on it. The dishes were not in packaging boxes, but on the original plates. The waiter also brought them 2 sets of clean cutlery, which really meant they moved to another place to continue drinking. The place had just been laid out when a second waiter arrived with a dining cart and brought the dishes that had not been served before. Zhang Chen glanced sideways at Lu Ligan and cursed, "It's all your fault for making our waiter so busy and making a special trip for us." When the two waiters heard what Zhang Chen said, one quickly said, "It's okay, Mr. Zhang, this is what we should do." Another said, "Mr. Zhang, if you finish your meal and leave the utensils at the door. I will come and collect them when I get off work." Zhang Chen said, "Thank you, thank you. Thank you for not taking it too seriously." Book friend 1008081706397767, book friend 201902031030266617, Dal Tin Soldier, 2 fishes 1 up and 1 below, 3rd place from top to bottom for the reward. Thank you Tianying 1978, book friends 201905222127404445, passerby from the end of the world 69, get the monthly pass for Revolver, Wooden Man, don't take it too seriously, book friends 1008081706397767, book friends 1209061448109141, book friends 2020112418525610261002. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 2023. If one person fills up a glass of wine, the half bottle of Wu Yanjai will be gone. Lu Ligan looked at Zhang Chen and teased him. Mr. Zhang, can we talk about Renjia travel now? If you fart, hurry up, Zhang Chen said. Lu Ligan laughed loudly and said, okay, I'll let him go. It stinks. I think our positioning is wrong, and there is another resource that has not been fully utilized, Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen looked at him and waited for him to continue. Lu Ligan said, don't think that I went to Shanghai just to meet Huang Meili. No, Huang Meili just met by chance. In the past few days, I went to several B/U0026BS in Hangzhou and Shanghai to see them. After the Spring Festival holiday, Shanghai, many of the B/U0026BS in Hangzhou are booked by your original VIP members of Liu Customization, and they are members from other places. I also looked at the booking situation, and then there were a lot of bookings with the same situation. I also listened to the feedback from the waiters. They told me that these people felt very good about our B/U0026B. They really approve of our business model. What do you want to say? Zhang Chen asked. This part of the resources is the resource that we have not made good use of. Do they only have demand in Hangzhou, Shanghai, Beijing, and Sanya, but not other places? Apart from these places, they have no need to go to other places. No, there will definitely be. The reason why they will not choose our B/U0026BS in other places is that we have not built them well, and we have not been able to provide products corresponding to their needs in other places. Internally, the products in Beijing, Shanghai, and Hangzhou are high-end, but not in other places. They are not to their liking, so they have no reservations. Moreover, your Liu Customization only operates in 3 cities. If you expand it nationwide, how many customers are there like Liu Customization? These people are our target customer group. We originally designed it is determined that B/U0026BS in Hangzhou, Shanghai, and Beijing are high-end, while in other places they are mainly targeted at self-driving tourists and backpackers. This goal is completely wrong. We should target all our homestays at high-end customers like Liu Customization, rather than self-driving customers and backpackers. Although many of these customers will also drive their own cars, they compared with general self-driving customers and backpackers, they are completely 2 types of customers. What's the difference? Zhang Chen was drawn into this topic and couldn't help but ask. There are many differences. Come on, listen to me. Lu Ligan raised his glass as he spoke, and Zhang Chen also raised his glass. The two sat on both sides of the conference table. They were too far apart, so there was no need to clink their glasses. The two then took a sip of wine, as if making an appointment. Okay, so I only took a small sip, and now we have to talk seriously. Self-driving tourists and backpackers are mostly young people. To do business with them, we must rely on platforms such as Trip and Qunar. This group of customers has 2 characteristics. First, our pricing cannot be too high, which is too high for them. I don't accept it. We are not the only B/U0026B in every place, and there is nothing special about us. Moreover, our original positioning was just to provide them with a place to sleep at night, which is no different from ordinary hotels. Our prices are too high, so they might as well just stay in a hotel. Another characteristic of this group of customers is that they travel very intensively, mostly during holidays, especially festivals like May 11th. They travel together in a concentrated manner, but we are just a B/U0026B. Every place is generally there are only 5 or 6 rooms. Like the one in Qandao Lake, there are only a dozen rooms. They are full every day. How many customers can it get? At this point, We can't compare with ordinary hotels. We are using our shortcomings to compare with other people's strengths. They can eat for several months during one holiday and they have many rooms. We can't. We can't. With so many rooms, the only way is to increase the selling price of each room, and if we increase the selling price, we can play to our strengths. We have few rooms. We only need a few customers or even one customer every day to fill up our entire hotel. Look at those 5-star hotels. The price of the same hotel ranges from a few hundred yuan to several thousand yuan. Those rooms worth several $1,000s are occupied every day. Why? There are just such customers and they have needs. What we have to do is attract them. Let me imagine that these customers are the members of your original Liu customization. No, the scope is wider. It turns out that your Liu customization is mainly female. We are not limited to entrepreneurs, high-income people, as well as people in the entertainment industry, including corporate customers. This group of customers has free finances and free time. They do not choose to travel intensively during holidays, but travel when they need to, or when it is convenient. In addition, these customers pay more attention to privacy. Hotels, they don't want to go to the hotel, so it's a good idea to go to our B/U0026B. It doesn't matter if they are going on a humming tryst, taking their mistresses with them, discussing program scripts and projects, holding board meetings, or just simply wanting to be quiet. There are always so many people everywhere, every day. Just a few people, not too many, are enough, and they can fill up our B/U0026B. For them, a room costs several thousand yuan a day, and a house costs tens of thousands a day. It's no big deal. If you, Zhang Chen, take the directors of your half-acre field to hold a board meeting and spend hundreds of thousands, do you care? Or if you take a girl, for example, let me say, if you take a girl for a tryst for a few days and spend hundreds of thousands, will you care? You definitely won't care, right? This is what we, Renjia Travel, have to do. We have to level up our standards within ourselves, so that all B/U0026Bs in other places can be on par with those in Beijing, Shanghai, and Hangzhou. We can also introduce membership system. Wait, can this be the same? Can you make every place on the same level as Beijing, Shanghai, and Hangzhou? Zhang Chen interrupted Lu Ligan and asked. Why not? We have this condition in terms of hardware. Each of our B/U0026Bs has its own characteristics and is carefully designed by our Zangda designers. Can this be compared to other B/U0026Bs? As for the facilities inside, you also know, how much more will it cost? We can definitely achieve it, Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen thought for a while, and he felt that it was not difficult to achieve this in terms of hardware. In terms of comfort, these newly built B/U0026Bs would be more comfortable than the old houses in Hangzhou, Shanghai, and Beijing. After all, these old houses have to endure the influence of the original house structure is a bit difficult to use. These newly built B/U0026Bs do not have this shackles. They only need to make adjustments in details, such as reducing the number of rooms, increasing the area of public areas and rooms, etc. But what about the software? How will the service and catering keep up? Zhang Chen asked. It is true that the target customers Lu Ligan mentioned need privacy and comfort, but you don't even have food to eat. If people want to eat something good, they need to go to a nearby town to eat. Without the hotel they need, how can you talk about privacy and comfort? Haha, this is my master Liu's pioneering work, Lu Lepole said proudly. Just listen to my explanation. By the way, tell me first, do you agree with what I said before? Customer segmentation. Zhang Chen said, okay, I agree. As far as the B/U0026B itself is concerned, it does not need to follow the popular route. The B/U0026B of Rengia Tourism can be positioned as a luxury product among B/U0026Bs. I have done this before. No, I haven't seen the clothing in our half-acre field. Now the output and sales are getting less and less, but the money we make is more. I used to make a profit from selling 3 pieces of clothes, but now I make half a piece. This is the advantage of making high-quality products. We work hard from fabrics and accessories to pattern and workmanship. It is not easy for others to learn from it. Even imitations cannot be copied. Good fabrics and auxiliary materials that cannot be found in the market, they are all customized by us. The same goes for good workers. They are trained and cannot be achieved overnight. But making high-quality products is a systematic project. You can't say that you use accessories from the East Station commodity market on your clothes and still dare to call them high-quality products. The same goes for B/U0026Bs. You don't mean high-end, it will be high-end immediately. Yours the supporting facilities and services must be worthy of this positioning and make customers feel that they are worth their money. Of course, we are an enterprise. How can we get far by cheating? Lou Ligon said. When Lou built a house and sold it, the price was more expensive than others, but who doesn't admit that my price is reasonable? Yes, it's the same with a B/U0026B. It's expensive, and it has to be reasonably expensive. Not only the hardware must be first class, but everything else must be the same. Stop talking nonsense and talk about the key points, Zhang Chen said. Okay, here comes the important point, Lou Ligon said. In each of my B/U0026Bs, I only arrange for one permanent staff to stay, and the other staff are floating. What do you mean? Zhang Chen asked. I will establish a service center in the group. The service center will be composed of 2 people, chefs and waiters. The chefs can cook Cantonese cuisine, Chaozhou cuisine, Shandong cuisine, Sichuan cuisine, Hunan cuisine, Huaiyang cuisine, etc., etc., etc. There are chefs from all cuisines, and if the customers need or want to eat any cuisine, I will temporarily assign chefs there. Lou Ligon said, and Zhang Chen's eyes lit up. Yes, this is a good idea. This service center is just like the central kitchen of Liu Bang, the great ancestor of the Han dynasty. However, their central kitchen distributes semi-finished products. This service in the center, people are branched out, and different people are provided according to different customer needs. Zhang Chen understood almost immediately what the waiters in the service center were like. There are also different forms of waiters. If you are going there to hold a seminar or board of directors, you can send a waiter who is good at business services and bring office equipment. She can help with typing, copying, and binding to provide conference services. If you are a client going to recuperate, send a waiter who is good at health massage. If you need someone to talk to you, send a waiter who is compatible with you and has expertise in a certain field to chat with you every day. Your words are very speculative. Zhang Chen told Lou Ligon his thoughts. In a word, both chefs and waiters can be customized by customers, right? Lou Ligon slammed the table and shouted, bingo, all wins. How about we start a people's travel industry like this? Okay, Zhang Chen thought for a moment and then said, okay, I now believe that Huang Meili didn't let you get carried away. Thank you, Captain Jim, Pio Xiaofan, Get Revolver, Love Purple, and How for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you a nice weekend. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 2024. When Zhang Chen was designing the series of Rengia Tourism, he always focused on the word hidden. The original intention of the design at that time was in harmony with the privacy of the new Rengia tourism that Luligan now requires. The first time a guest comes to their B/U0026B, the first feeling is that it is good. This place is very quiet or secluded. Away from the hustle and bustle of the city, people will feel relaxed. This is the first sense of recognition, much like the love at first sight between a man and a woman. The first time he sees this building, hidden in the surrounding environment, it reminds him of his desire to escape, to avoid the sight of others, and what he is looking for in his heart. When the destination matches, people will want to blend in, just like water, blending into the water and disappearing into the water. On the contrary, if it is very revealing and eye-catching, the first moment they arrive here, the customer will frown like a reflex and have a knot in his heart. He will not be satisfied with anything he sees next, and the whole person will be on alert and nervous. If you want to change his first impression, it will be difficult. But it is not enough to hide the external form. Internal adjustments are also needed to make this hiding deep into the bone marrow. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan said. Each project needs to sacrifice 1 or 2 rooms in this way. Not only can the original rooms be enlarged, but more public spaces can be added. The public spaces are large enough so that people don't feel cramped or crowded, you will relax. Lu Ligan said, okay, then we will adjust the plan. Also, after all, not every customer will rent a house. Inside the house, a semi-enclosed environment must be established in terms of structural design. The simplest one is that the doors of all rooms should not face the door. In my room, even if the door is open, I will not see other rooms, and no one will walk by the door. For example, the original design of 3 rooms in a row with 1 stair going up needs to be designed with 1 stair going up and 2 rooms in different directions on the left and right, and corners or obstructions must be added, so that each room has a relative. The same applies to the closed world, including balconies and terraces. From this room, you can't see the next room, and preferably you can't even see the upstairs or the downstairs. Okay. As Lu Ligan spoke, he remembered the house he designed in Hongling Reservoir. He said, if that doesn't work, just use grapevines to separate them. If you hang the grape trellis upside down below, you won't be able to see it from above. Zhang Chen cursed, and Lu Ligan laughed. Considering that meetings or small discussions are still needed, a small conference room must be added to each project. This conference room can be made into an independent glass house by following our practice in Sanya, and installed with projection equipment. It can be used as an entertainment room for guests who have meetings and work inside and do not have meeting or office needs, Zhang Chen said. This is also very simple. You only need to temporarily change the interior layout according to the needs of the guests, Zhang Chen added. Lu Ligan thought for a moment and said, what if the glass house is built into a small swimming pool and gym, and the conference room or entertainment room is placed in the basement? Zhang Chen thinks Lu Ligan's suggestion is very good. The conference room here is different from their Sanya Banmuishan hotel. It does not need such a large area and can be placed in the basement. This is more convenient for meetings or entertainment. Well, for swimming and fitness, you can put it on the ground and enjoy the surrounding scenery while exercising. You can even float on the water and look at the stars above. Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan said yes. Lu Ligan said, I also need to adjust and slow down the pace here. Originally, I'll be there right now has contacted me in several places in Jiangsu. I want to go there. Now it seems that this matter will be slowed down. I will go first. Let's work on these dozens of projects, turn them into high-quality products, and build our reputation first. Zhang Chen said yes, don't be anxious. You have no experience in running a B/U0026B. Experience must be accumulated. Besides, Zhejiang is the best place to develop this project. Its economy is very developed. Shanghai Nesa are already used to treating Zhejiang as such. Think of it as their back garden. If Zhejiang can't even do it, you don't have to go out and make trouble. Ask Zhang Mushin and the designers from Jinxiu Design Institute to come to my place tomorrow, and I will tell them how to make adjustments, Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan said. Xiaomi also needs to adjust its direction. We will start recruiting and training service center personnel now. By the way, Zhang Chen, the chef training will be placed in Tuxianjiayuan and handed over to Huihuan. Do you think it's okay, Lu said the Pole. Are you convinced again? Zhang Chen asked. Lu Ligan laughed loudly and said, we are not one family, so why are you talking about two families? Zhang Chen said, as for chefs, when you recruit people from all major cuisines, you still have to recruit people with basic skills. It is impossible for Huihuan to know all the cuisines here. The most he can do is to improve his skills through training. This is common, but each cuisine still has its own soul and its own characteristics, which cannot be cultivated by Huihuan. Lu Ligan nodded, indicating that he understood, and said, the people I want to recruit should at least start as first-level chefs, is that okay? Okay, but you can't recruit first-level chefs now, Zhang Chen said. Why? Lu Ligan asked. Pig, chefs are no longer like they used to be, level 1, 2, 3, and then special 3, special 2, special first level. Now they are divided into 5 levels, junior, intermediate, and advanced. After the advanced level is the technician, and above the technician is the senior technician. It's okay to recruit senior people. It's not necessary to be too high, and the salary requirements are too high. After all, the number of people he serves is still small, and it is not the same as the professional hotels below us, Zhang Chen said. Lu Ligan said, yes, I understand. By the way, Zhang Chen, how many senior technicians do you have here? 5, the ones we stand on the first pier are all senior technicians, but don't be too superstitious about this kind of thing. Chefs are also divided. Some are aiming for grade examinations, and some are relying on practical skills to make a living. A senior chef, generally he has all the abilities he should have, and then it depends on the reputation of customers, Zhang Chen said. It doesn't mean that you have to be at the level of a senior technician to be a great one. The two people were talking, and before they knew it, the wine in the glass was finished. Zhang Chen asked Lu Ligan if he wanted to open another bottle. Lu Ligan said, forget it, I still have to think carefully today. I'm going to leave again, Zhang Chen said. What do you want to do? Set off? Where to go? Lu Ligan asked. Zhang Chen smiled and said, seeing you and Zhang Xiangbei start their own businesses one by one, I feel itchy and a little envious. I feel that I have regressed in the past few years and no longer have so much passion for one thing. I will no longer devote myself as much as I did when I started a business, and start again, I will start a new business. It's not that you don't have passion, your life is too good. There are capable people in charge of every aspect below. To put it bluntly, you are just superfluous in the company now. Even if you are paralyzed in bed, you only make money every day. It will ding ding dong dong and run in by itself. Lu Ligan looked at Zhang Chen and continued. However, if people stay in a comfortable environment for too long, they will get rusty. I feel that I was like this for a while. I was doing nothing every day in Hongling Reservoir, watching the sunrise in the morning, and then waiting for the sunset, so later, I felt that I had to leave. Meeting Bai Bei was just an opportunity, but he just didn't come, so I thought I might not stay long. Okay, I admit it. Now that I think about the earliest time, Xiao Zhao and I were helping order buttons in Zhao's Higang store in the middle of the night. It was not yet dawn, and we had to go there again. No matter how cold the weather was, we were riding on the road. When I rushed to the market to open, I will sweat all over my body. Thinking about it now, it feels like a dream. If I have to suffer like that again, I don't know if I can bear it. Zhang Chen smiled bitterly and shook his head. It's different. Even if you start a business now, the starting point will be different. Lu Ligan said, I started my business by sweeping buildings. Do I need to sweep buildings now? In fact, Zhang Chen, sometimes I think about it, we are still lucky. Look at these young people who are selling insurance now. Who is not the same as me, sweeping buildings every day, but the opportunities are no longer the same. There are no miracles now. It is impossible to say that a big order will be placed with just one phone call. Including later when I returned to Hangzhou, I could start real estate with 100,000 yuan at that time. Now even if you give me 10 million yuan, I can't start. This is the truth and is not hypocritical at all. Lu Ligan said, and Zhang Chen nodded, yes, the era when you could make a fortune by setting up a wonton stall has completely passed. Lu Lipol patted his chest and said to Zhang Chen, we, our generation, have blocked all the roads for Bai Bei and others. There is no shortcut to making money. Every alley is full of people who want to get rich. Do you admit it or not? Bai Bei, if it weren't for Xiaofang and you, he would have graduated from Yale, and now he would still have to hold the application form and wait for others to interview him. Or take the project plan and go meet with the investors who are just cheating and unreliable. He doesn't even have a chance to meet the real big guys. As for the Zaixian delivery project, he hasn't even had a chance to meet. If you set off, you may die at the starting point. I say this, but I don't mean to deny Bai Bei at all. He is better than most of his peers, and much better than the rich second generation who only act cute and show off online. There's nothing to admit or deny, it's just the way it is. Zhang Chen said, remembering the day when Zhang Xiangbei, himself and Xiaofang talked about the Zai Fresh delivery project. Zhang Xiangbei already had 5 million at that time. It can be said that it was already a dream for many young people. Something he couldn't have imagined, but even with 5 million, he was still vulnerable in front of Xiaofang. Xiaofang told him that he must have 2 billion to do this. However, it's not absolute, Zhang Chen said, with so many people at Yale, the only one who thought of growing vegetables and making money by growing vegetables was Zhang Xiangbei. He threw me into Yale. I don't know how. Only in this way can we survive, let alone make money, so at any time, everything still depends on people and their own efforts. If you don't work hard, no matter how much money you have, it will be a waste. Okay, Zhang Xiangbei is indeed good. Congratulations to you and Xiao Zhao for giving birth to a good son. It is also an advantage for me and Tan Shahen. However, our family is more than enough to match your north and south. Come on, cheers. Lu Ligan shouted, and the two of them picked up the empty cups, raised them, and dropped the few drops of wine left at the bottom of the cups into their mouths. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes. Thanks to Tian Wei Wei Wei, Lao Shenzi Sang, Dan Wu Wu Fa 222, and the blessings of the gods. Why can't I change my name? Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 2025. Lu Ligan got up and left, saying that he hadn't told Tan Shahen that he was back today. He got off the highway and went directly to Zhang Chen without even going to his office downstairs. Now that everything was settled, he was satisfied. I have to go back first. When Lu Ligan said this, he actually felt that the distant feeling in his heart was still there. Although he just left Hangzhou yesterday, he felt that he had been away for a long time. During this day and night, it seemed that nothing had happened, and at the same time it seemed that something had happened. Many things. Zhang Chen also stood up and walked to the desk to sit down. Someone knocked on the door, and Zhang Chen asked to come in. The waiter poked his head in and asked, Mr. Zhang, can I put away the tableware? Zhang Chen said yes, thank you. The waiter pushed the dining cart in and arrived at the conference table. She poured all the leftovers into a casserole that originally contained radish slices, put the casserole on the dining cart, stacked the other tableware, and put them in. Then she took a bag of disposable tablecloths, tied them in a knot, and wrapped all the leftover food rubbish in it. She put the rubbish into the lower level of the dining cart and pushed the dining cart to get ready to go out. Jiang Chen sat there and watched the waiter doing all this. He thought the waiter was good, quick and well trained. The waiter pushed the cart to the door. Jiang Chen stood up and wanted to open the door for her, but she had already opened the door, pushed the dining cart out, then turned around, said goodbye, Mr. Jiang to Jiang Chen, and gently opened the door. He brought it. Jiang Chen sat down again and picked up his mobile phone. Then he remembered that before Lu Ligan came in, Vice Mayor Li of Yongcheng called him and told him to go back and build a logistics base. Deputy Mayor Li told him that this might be the last time. The industrial land in Yongcheng is also very tight now. If he misses this time, there will be no such big land in the future. Jiang Chen quickly said thank you to the leader. You don't need to thank me, Jiang Chen. If someone else comes to take such a large piece of land, some people will have objections. It's no problem for you to come. Everyone sees the contribution you have made to Yongcheng and your hometown over the years, Vice Mayor Li told him. Putting down the phone, Jiang Chen remembered the conversation he had with Deputy Mayor Li in the car in front of KFC in the Cultural Plaza when he went back to Yongcheng a year ago to help Lu Lipol find land. At that time, he thought the other party was just talking casually, but he didn't expect people are serious. They are so serious. Of course Jiang Chen must be serious too. Jiang Chen picked up the phone, called Huo, told him about the matter, and asked him if he wanted to take it. How big is the area? Huo asked. They said they could give us 2,000 acres, Jiang Chen said. It's a pleasure to be forced to raise, instructor, the second-rate guy yelled, and then asked, 140 kilometers away from Hangzhou. No, it's 140 kilometers away from Hangzhou. That's to Yongcheng County. To here, it's more than 80 kilometers, Jiang Chen said. Here, instructor, those who are forced to raise them, don't even think about having a logistics base within 100 kilometers from the city. Developers will take them away to build houses. Those who are forced to raise them, I'm worried that our logistics base will not be demolished. The one in Hangcheng is originally the smallest among our logistics bases. Even though we have taken over Xie's base, it is still not enough. Also, you are forced to raise it. Of all the land in our logistics base, only the land in Hangcheng is rented from the troops. Instructor, if someone wants to take it back, we will have no choice. When Huo said this, he reminded Jiang Chen, yes, their logistics base in Hangzhou, when the land was rented, was a non-staple food base for the provincial military region. It was said that new documents would be issued soon. The transfer procedures can be completed, but after so many years, there is still no result. In these years, the land in Hangzhou has skyrocketed, and the land around their logistics base has been auctioned off. The troops are not living in a vacuum. They also know the current price of land in Hangzhou. If this piece of land is transferred now, it will probably be at a sky-high price. It seems that it is indeed time to look for a new logistics base here in Hangzhou. Even if it is empty for a few years after it is completed, the second-rate goods are right. Land in the city is at a premium. The local government now even has development zones. They don't even look down on it, let alone the logistics base. It is inevitable that their base will be driven out of the city one by one. Jiang Chen and Huo said, well, you come to Hangzhou tomorrow, and we'll go over and talk about it the day after tomorrow to finalize this matter. Okay, I'm forced to do it, instructor. The idiot said and hung up the phone. Jiang Chen was stunned for a moment. How the hell did I become a forced instructor? Jiang Chen smiled bitterly and shook his head. The second-rate guy now looks like an entrepreneur when talking to others, and no longer swears, but when talking to Zhang Chen and the others, he immediately becomes a different person, and the forced thing returns to his original self. On the mouth. Zhang Chen remembered the topic of starting a business again that he had discussed with Lu Ligan before. He really had an urge to start a business again. A person who devotes himself wholeheartedly to doing something can become addicted. Zhang Chen missed that very much. Today, I am indeed a little envious of Zhang Xiangbei and Lu Ligan's current busy schedule. But what can I do now? But he felt a little confused. In his opinion, taking 2,000 acres of land to build a logistics base was not a startup, but an extension of the original business. They were still doing it every year and they had not stopped. Of course, they were building a new logistics base. Mainly second-hand people are doing it, and there are very few people who Zhang Chen can get involved in. Even for this project in Yongcheng, it was just that he brought the second-rate people along with him, settled the matter, and let everyone eat together and let the second-rate people recognize the heads of all parties. Everything that happened after that was still the second-rate deal. They were going to take care of it, so there was no need to trouble Zhang Chen. This kind of thing was familiar to the second-rate guy. Zhang Chen really feels that he has been leisurely for too long now. For him, he has long passed the stage of making money by doing something. Whether he makes money or not no longer makes sense. What he misses is that kind of thing. The sense of accomplishment after something is accomplished. Money is just one of the criteria to measure whether you have accomplished something, not the goal. In Zhang Chen's opinion, losing money cannot be regarded as a success. Although Xiaofang told him that it is normal for the projects they invest in to lose money, as long as they can keep losing money until it is listed or someone else comes to acquire it. Zhang Chen doesn't think so. He believes that things should have a beginning and an end. When starting to plan a project, you should think about how it can be profitable and how far the profit goal is. It must be a project that can be seen and touched, and cannot be profitable. It's not a good project, and it's not even within the scope of his consideration. Zhang Chen stood up and walked to the window. When he passed the conference table, he saw that the table where he and Lu Ligan were drinking and eating was clean, as if nothing had happened. Zhang Chen's heart moved. Why? But he doesn't know how to move. He walked to the window, glanced out the window, and immediately came back. He sat down at the conference table and stared blankly at the smooth table in front of him. Zhang Chen returned home, but Xiaofang hadn't come back yet. Zhang Chen turned on the air conditioner without turning on the lights. Using the light outside, he took the ashtray from the coffee table, walked to the balcony, and opened the balcony window a crack. Standing there smoking. Jingxia Jiawan community is Lu Ligan's first project, but now it is facing the end of demolition. There is no way. There are no such large plots of land in the prime location of the city center anymore, so we can only put these. The earliest multi-story residential complexes developed were demolished and transformed into high-rise buildings with more than 30 stories. After repeated negotiations between the Community Property Committee and the Land Acquisition and Storage Center, the conditions between the two parties have been negotiated. All residents in the community will be resettled in place, and one will be demolished to replace the other two. However, the room numbers must be drawn in a unified manner. If you need to choose the floor and room number, 200,000 yuan per number. It sounds tempting to demolish one to replace two, but Zhang Chen knows that the housing availability rate for their current house is 88%. After it is converted into a high-rise building, the housing availability rate is only about 70%. The usable area has indeed increased a bit, but not by much. One household only needs a house of 120 square meters. Zhang Chen has 2 apartments here, and he has to choose the floor and room number. Then he can exchange for a house with more than 240 square meters of loft on the top floor. Originally, Zhang Chen wanted to choose a number for his parents and Xiaofang's parents, but they still liked living on the first floor. Lu Ligan asked him, "Are you stupid? Just draw randomly. The one with the worst luck is on the first floor. If you draw another floor, you can exchange it with the one drawn on the first floor, and you can ask him for some money." Tan Shahen and Zhang Chen said that our splendid China is bound to win this place, and for no other reason. We cannot say that seeing Splendid Home become another community, Splendid cannot afford to lose face. Zhang Chen knew that it was actually because this was the first community developed by Lu Ligan. This community had already been written into the company history of their Splendid China. This is very important to Splendid China and also very important to Lu Ligan. Zhang Chen and Tan Shahen agreed that after they take over the land, the top floor of the building he chooses will be reserved for him except for his own one, so that he will own the entire top floor of one layer. Yes, you have to act quickly. The news is already very tight. It is estimated that next year, the purchase of houses in Hangzhou will be restricted. It will be useless if you have money by then. You already have so many houses, and you will definitely not be qualified to buy a house. Tan Shahen talked to him. Whether it's fast or not is up to you. Zhang Chen said, "I want to buy it now, is that okay?" Tan Shahen said, "Okay, I will give you time and I will find a way to squeeze you in. Thank me first." The reason why Zhang Chen is so nostalgic here is, of course, that he is used to living here. He can almost drive the road from here to the company with his eyes closed. More importantly, this used to be his and Xiao Zhao's home, and then, his and Xiaofang's home. What is home? Isn't home just where it is, always a stable and shining destination? How can home drift away at will? After smoking a cigarette, Zhang Chen saw below that Xiaofang and Zhao Zheng were back. When they got downstairs, the two said goodbye. Zhao Zheng continued to walk inside, and Xiaofang disappeared at the bottom of the stairs. Xiaofang opened the door and came in. She stretched out her hand to turn on the switch beside the door. She was startled when she saw a figure coming in from the balcony. Xiaofang said, "Are you at home? I thought you hadn't come back. What are you doing on the balcony?" "I'm waiting for you," Zhang Chen said. "Wait for me? What's wrong?" Xiaofang asked. "I want to discuss a project with you," Zhang Chen said. "Thank you for your monthly votes from Zongkai 727, Fantasy in the Wind, Tian Weiwei, Yan Kiss Lighter, Zipanjiang 1, and Book Friends 201809062232049334. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 2026. Xiaofang sat down on the sofa and watched Zhang Chen walk over. When he came close, Zhang Chen said, "I want to start a business." "Start a business?" Xiaofang almost burst into laughter, but seeing Zhang Chen's serious face, as if he was not joking, Xiaofang asked, "What business do you want to start?" Zhang Chen put down the ashtray and cigarette lighter on the coffee table and sat down. He said to Xiaofang, "I want to open a hotel." "You want to open a hotel?" Xiaofang opened her eyes so wide that they almost popped out. "You have opened so many hotels, including the Benmushan Resort Hotel, World Tropical Botanical Garden Resort Hotel and Benmushan Hotel in Sanya, as well as Hangzhou and Shanghai. There are more than a dozen Tuxianjiayuan hotels in Ningbo, and Renjia Tourism, which is now cooperating with Lu Ligan, is also a hotel. You want to open a hotel, and you open it every year. If you want to open a new one this year, just go ahead and open it. You still need to tell me this, do you still call opening a hotel a business?" Xiaofang stretched out her hand, but Zhang Chen turned his head away and said immediately, "Don't touch it, I don't have a fever. I really want to open a hotel." Xiaofang smiled and said, "Okay, dear, tell me, what hotel do you want to open? If you want to open a 7-star hotel like the Burj Al Arab in Dubai, you will need me. You can open other hotels if you want, yes, as long as the shareholders meeting agrees, that's it. Zhang Chen waved his hand and said to Xiao Fang, now I am not your dear, and you don't know me. The two of us are just strangers. Just listen to whether my idea is feasible from the perspective of your investor. Xiao Fang couldn't help but burst out laughing. She said, even if someone comes to talk to me about a project, it can't be a stranger. You have to introduce yourself first. She glanced at Zhang Chen, held back her laughter and said, okay, we are just two strangers now. Please tell us about your project in detail, Mr. Zhang. By the way, I remember your surname is Zhang, right? At this time, Zhang Chen couldn't help it, laughed, and cursed, oh, you have ruined the atmosphere. The two of them were swaying with laughter on the sofa. Xiao Fang sat up straight and said, don't worry, even if you are my dear, when I listen to the introduction, I will make a judgment from an objective perspective. Don't worry about my sanity and professionalism. Zhang Chen agreed, and he said, the hotel I want to open is a hotel without a store. It is a hotel that has no actual business premises, does not need to rent a house and decorate, and does not cause waste of raw materials. You know, like when opening a hotel, the hotel's store rent will be the hotel's main cost. It doesn't matter if it's not in a busy area, or if the business area is too small. Now, if you don't have enough parking lots, people who come to eat will have no place to park, so now hotels are concentrating in large shopping malls, because only they can have large underground parking lots. But in shopping malls, rents are very high, and it's difficult for hotels to maintain profitability, so I thought about opening a storeless hotel. Xiao Fang nodded. She said it was interesting. How to open it? How can a hotel have no stores? Come on, my dear, convince me. I haven't finished what I said before, Zhang Chen said. In addition, now, everyone's housing and economic conditions are very good. For example, in Hangzhou, how many people live in villas and big houses? There are many banquets for these people. Everyone hopes to hold it at their own home. The closeness and distance between people are completely different at home and in a hotel. In addition, now, there are still many people who don't dare to go to hotels to have banquets, but if they go to other people's homes for family banquets, that's a different matter, right? There are also some companies that need dinner parties and banquets, etc. Many people also hope to hold it in their own companies. Isn't there a huge demand in this area? Xiao Fang nodded and said, yes, there is demand in this area, and it will get bigger and bigger. I used to be on Wall Street, and the company would often hold buffet parties, but they were all arranged by professional public relations companies. It's somewhat similar, but not entirely. By the way, you haven't seen Chinese food do this, have you? Zhang Chen asked. Xiao Fang thought for a moment and said, there is no Chinese food, so we can only order takeout for Chinese food. Those are two different things. You can fill your stomach with takeout, but the taste is completely different. No one would be stupid enough to order takeout as a treat, right? Zhang Chen said, as I said before, there is a market demand, but why do I still have to go to the hotel to eat? Because I have no choice but to cook it myself. Even if there is a nanny at home, all the nanny can do is make a few special home-cooked dishes. For high-end ingredients, such as butchered lobsters and geoducks, and shark fins and birds' nests, the nannies know how to make and butcher them. They can't make them, including seasonings. We have more than 100 kinds of condiments in Tuxianjiayuan. How can we prepare such things at home? There are many seasonings, even if they are prepared, some of them are only used a few times a year. These are the differences between a hotel and a home. My plan can solve these problems. It is equivalent to moving the hotel directly to your home. You can place an order at my hotel, and my chef will bring the prepared, pre-pickled and loaded ingredients and tableware, etc., A cold chain truck drives directly to the customer's home or designated place. I have processed the ingredients that need to be processed in advance in my processing room. After arriving, the chef will go into the guest's kitchen and start cooking on site. All dishes are made on site and served one by one. If you are a discerning guest, if you still need waiter service, our waiter will also come to your door, wait until you finish your meal, pack the tableware and leave. In this way, as long as you have money and the need, it doesn't matter if you have a banquet with guests at your own home every day. It's the same as treating guests at a hotel. You can eat happily, privately, and have more face. Moreover, we also have different cuisines. Chef, we can provide you with whatever cuisine you want to eat today. This is something that ordinary hotels cannot do. You can ask a Sichuan chef to make Cantonese food. You can't do it well. No one is stupid enough to go to a Sichuan restaurant to eat Cantonese food, but it can be done here. If you want to eat Sichuan food at home today, and Huaiyang food at home tomorrow, it doesn't matter. Yes, we just send different chefs to your home. By the way, for some corporate customers to treat guests or have a picnic, it doesn't matter even if you don't even have a kitchen. We can even send you kitchen utensils and gas stoves. You just want to have a feast like Huayangshiu in the Drunkard Pavilion on the mountain. It doesn't matter, our chef will fry the dishes for you one by one. For us, we only need to train chefs and waiters. We don't need a store at all. This is what I call a storeless hotel. Moreover, because all meals are pre-booked by customers, we will purchase whatever customers need. What, at most prepare some vegetables and let customers add them temporarily, so that we don't even have any waste. Zhang Chen talked non-stop, Xiaofang listened quietly, and when Zhang Chen finished speaking, Xiaofang said, "There's a problem here." "What's the problem?" Zhang Chen asked. "You said earlier that you have processed the ingredients that need to be pre-processed in the processing room first. It is true that you can't bring live chickens, ducks, or fish to other people's homes to kill them. We don't have enough time to cook the stew," Xiaofang said. "There are also things like shark fins and fish maws. If the water is to be distributed, it must be distributed one night in advance, which is even more impossible," Zhang Chen added. "Yes, this is one aspect, but also, like seafood, customers will suspect that the ingredients you provide are not fresh enough. The existence of the hotel's seafood pool is to dispel customers' doubts in this regard," Xiaofang said. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "I have thought about this a long time ago. Not only will I ensure that the seafood is fresh, I will also ensure that the vegetables are the freshest. My kitchen, because there is no need for a shop, my kitchen, or a processing room. It can be anywhere, the rent is very cheap, and by the way, it can be with Zhangjiangbei's Zaixiangxian. The ingredients they have are always fresh enough. I purchase them from him and process them immediately in the processing room. There are live videos of each of my positions, including weighing and slaughtering, as well as the segmentation on the pier. All the way to the loading at the back, there is a live broadcast of each position. If the customer wants to watch, he can see the entire process of order preparation on the website. Even a hotel can't do this. When it comes to the safety and freshness of the ingredients, do I make you feel more at ease here than when you go to a hotel to eat? When you go to a hotel, you can also go to the kitchen and keep an eye on every aspect. I can do it here." Xiaofang stared at Zhang Chen. After a while, she sighed softly, and Zhang Chen asked, "What's wrong? I don't think I need to look for projects anymore. Just keeping an eye on you and your son is enough for me." "Well, the investors have spoken. As an investor, I will invest in your project," Xiaofang said. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "I just want to hear your thoughts on this project. I don't need your investment. If it is feasible, I can do it myself right away." Stingy Xiaofang cursed and asked, "What are you going to do?" "I plan to promote it first in Shanghai, Hangcheng, and Ningbo, the 3 places where there are already Tuxianjiayuan hotels. This is very convenient for me. When customers order meals, all the ingredients are readily available in the hotel, so it is very easy to prepare. It's so convenient, you don't even need another processing room, just send a chef and waiter directly from the hotel, Zhang Chen said proudly. Xiaofang shook her head gently and said, "Dear, do you want to listen to my professional advice? You say. If you do this, a good project will fall into your hands. Apart from other things, what will happen to your personnel management? When an order comes, who should be sent out, who should not be sent out, and how to distribute the income. If all the chefs think it is cost-effective to go out, or it is not cost-effective to go out, what will you do? What if everyone rushes to go out, or no one is willing to do it? If you go out, can you still do this job well? In the same company, the same type of work, there are 2 working environments, labor intensity, and 2 kinds of treatment. Although the project you are talking about is also a hotel, it is completely different from your current hotel. From the staffing to the management model, it is all brand new, and it must be very professional. Do you want to combine the old and new business formats? By combining them together, yes, you will save trouble, but I tell you, it won't take long before both sides of you will be in chaos." When Xiaofang was talking, Zhang Chen remembered that when his wedding dress company and clothing company first got together, the sewing and lathes on both sides had great conflicts and opinions. Everyone felt that they were both lathes, but the other's work intensity was different. Not as good as myself, but with a higher income than myself, it is difficult to manage. Zhao's Higang and Zhao's Hailong had a headache even over how to get wages. They felt that this bowl of water could not be balanced, which made everyone feel restless. Those in the wedding dress company wanted to work in the clothing company, and the clothing company wanted to work in the wedding dress company, until in the end, the 2 companies merged together, and the situation gradually improved. "Then what do you think we should do?" Zhang Chen asked. "You're not arrogant anymore, you want to listen to my opinion with an open mind, right?" Xiaofang asked Zhang Chen with a smile, and Zhang Chen nodded. "Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you to Lao Chentang, Lao Dibao Ei, Yuangzi, Xiaoao Xiaoao, Zhao 1017, Wei Shir, and Xin Wushan for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 2027. Quickly, serve tea to teacher gone first. I'm thirsty. Xiaofang looked at Zhang Chen and said angrily. Zhang Chen got up and said oh, made a cup of tea for Xiaofang, and also got a bottle of pure water for himself. Xiaofang saw it and said quickly, "Don't drink cold water." Zhang Chen shook his head, it's okay, it's okay. As he spoke, he opened the bottle cap and took 2 gulps. Zhang Chen sat down again. Xiaofang looked at him and asked, "Tell me first, how did you come up with this idea?" This has actually been around since ancient times. It has been popular in China for thousands of years, but no one pays attention to it and doesn't think it can be a business model, Zhang Chen said with a smile. Is this something from ancient times? Why haven't I seen it before? Xiaofang asked, puzzled. This is what Huihuan's father does. In their rural areas, when someone wants to hold weddings, install beams on a new house, etc., they will ask him to cook. Huihuan's craftsmanship was learned from her father's help since she was a child. Why? Isn't that the case in your place? Zhang Chen asked. Xiaofang suddenly realized that it was true, but there seemed to be a difference. The difference is that mine is the upgraded 2.0 version, Zhang Chen said. Huihuan's father and the others are invited to go there, while I go there with people and ingredients. That's the difference. By the way, this demand, it has existed since ancient times. You see, even rural areas have such demand, let alone cities now. Okay, I understand, let's talk about your project next. Xiaofang and Zhang Chen said, let's clarify a few issues first. First, this project must be completely independent and cannot be combined with Tuxiang. There is a connection between the two companies. The reason is what I said earlier. They are two different forms of companies. If you try to force them together, the melon will go sour. Second, if we really want to compare this project, it is somewhat similar to Brother Lu and his Black Forest food. It can be rolled out across the country, there are stories to tell, and the profit model is very clear, so his best path is also like Black Forest. After rounds of financing, it will eventually strive to be listed. I know you don't want to go public, and the investment in the project itself is not very large. It mainly consists of promotion expenses and personnel expenses, as well as money for purchasing vehicles. Of course, if you want to save money, you can do it as long as the personnel expenses can be guaranteed. The investment can be reduced to 10%, but that is not our goal. This project must be a money-burning project in the early stage, and profits should not be considered. That's it. According to my budget, if it is rolled out in 20 cities at the same time in the early stage, about 100 million is more than enough. I also know that you are not short of the money. With your own ability on half an acre of land, you can complete this project. But why do you need to raise funds? You have to understand that financing itself not only provides funds, but also resources. This project itself can be quickly rolled out across the country, and its tentacles can reach deep into 4th and 5th tier cities. Even in small cities, there will be some wealthy people who will also have demand for your project. As for your project, because it has no stores, the size of each company can be controlled. It can be as small as a branch with 2 or 3 people. Of course, in cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen, it can also grow to hundreds or thousands. People. Even all your personnel can be freely deployed. You can adjust your personnel according to the different supply and demand conditions in different cities. This is the real advantage of your project. The cost is controllable, and you can also make reasonable arrangements to maximize benefits. When this project is launched, you can start to exit in a step-by-step manner. Why? It is the same as Didi Taxi. The actual entry threshold is not high. It is different from Baibei's Zaixian delivery. In fact, the entry threshold for Baibei is very high. Those who have the ability and ideas to compete with it are just a few leading companies, and small companies simply cannot afford it. Even if you are a small company, you can do it locally. After you succeed, there will definitely be many large and small companies to follow. The competition will become more and more fierce, and the market will be segmented, so this project, there is a ceiling, and it must be closed as soon as it is ready. Going back to financing, as I said before, because the barriers to entry are not high, you must quickly expand the market. When others start, you have already started running. By the time others start running, you have taken off, and you need money to spread the pie. There is also a big sum of money, which is the cost of marketing, which requires rounds of financing. As I said before, financing is not only about getting the money needed for development, but also the integration of resources, the integration of internal and external resources. Different investment companies will have their own expertise. Some are good at marketing, and some are good at internal management of enterprises. Some are good at dealing with the capital market and can help you go public quickly. There are also post-investment management that are particularly good, which can constantly alert you and save you from taking a lot of detours. There are also some that have appeal in the capital market. For example, when everyone sees that the company is Goldman Sachs, or those who invest in Morgan Stanley will want to follow the investment, and there is almost no need for you to communicate or convince them after the listing. The stocks will be very popular in the market. When you raise funds, these resources come in with the money. A rapidly growing company must integrate these resources in order to develop quickly. As far as this project is concerned, I think you must push it forward. Go out and take the Black Forest food route. Zhang Chen was silent. He felt that what Xiaofang said was reasonable, especially what she said. The entry threshold for this project was very low and it was highly imitable. Thinking about it carefully, Zhang Chen had to admit that this was really the case. If you were in a small county town, you could just cook with a house and 1 or 2 chefs, and you could take as many orders as you wanted every month. There is no other pressure. It's not like opening a restaurant. Even if your store is open, even if there is no business, you still need to pay the daily rent, water and electricity bills, and staff wages, and you also need to prepare materials. This is the cost you have to bear in the days when there is no business. Also very low. But on the other hand, although the entry threshold for this project is low, just like food delivery, the entry threshold for food delivery is also low, but if you can quickly expand and become famous, like ele.me and Meituan, such a leading company is also a big business, and it is difficult for others to compete with you. This is why Xiaofang said it needs to expand rapidly. Xiaofang looked at Zhang Chen and said to him, I haven't told you that Baibei's Zai Xianxiao, Zheng Huiyang, and a senior of mine from Yale have both come to me. They are all interested in acquiring or investing. If this project, Zaixiang Shui, were to start Series A now, it would be easy to raise a large sum of money. However, Sister Lu Yun and I have reached a consensus not to raise funds for the time being. Do you know why? Do you know the difference between Zaixian delivery and your project? Zhang Chen shook his head. The biggest difference is that Zaixian delivery itself is a big project. This project is too big, a bit too big to be boundless, and there are many peripheral businesses that can be expanded. If it is expanded, its scale will be larger than that of Mr. Ma and JD.com. It's still big. A big project like this needs to have ballast, and the ballast is the decision maker of this project. It not only requires that the decision maker must have determination and imagination, but also strong management and command capabilities. From the current point of view, Baibei is a suitable candidate. We feel that every move he makes is everything was done correctly. At this time, what he needs most is that no one interferes with his decision-making and breaks his plan and rhythm. This is also the reason why Lu Yun, Xiaohua, and I rarely ask about his company's situation, just because we don't want to put pressure on him. But in fact, I read their various reports every day and pay close attention to them. I don't know how to let Baibei know that I am paying attention to him, but I just don't want him to be disturbed. Once new financing starts and new investors come in, they will definitely have a certain say in the company and will be able to dictate, which will definitely interfere with Baibei's decision-making. This is why Lu Yun and I are not in a hurry to give money to Zai Xianshui's reason for bringing in new investors. Of course, judging from the cities where the business has been launched, the profitability of home fresh delivery itself is already very good, and the financial pressure is not great. The difference between your project and Zaixian delivery is that it is a very small project. It does not mean that small projects cannot be done, but that as long as small projects are promoted by capital, they can quickly become a big industry. Courier companies, taxi hailing companies, and food delivery companies, including companies like Trip, are all big industries where small projects have expanded. Listen to me, dear, it's still the same as Fanhua Network. If you want to do this project, it will be launched in 20 cities across the country at the same time, and then immediately carry out Series A and Series B in the continuous financing process, continue to develop nationwide and extend its tentacles further. The company's startup capital was 100 million, and the angel round was funded by Ban Mutian, myself, Lu Yun, and Xiaohua. Lu Yun and I can integrate domestic and Wall Street resources. Xiaohua's Fubon Financial Holdings can then attract investors from Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Southeast Asia. The company's share distribution remains the same, half an acre of land and 40%, we each give 20%, what do you think? My dear, don't worry, this time there will be a beginning and an end, and we won't kick you out halfway. Xiaofang laughed as she spoke, and Zhang Chen also laughed. He said, okay, I will do as you say. Xiaofang looked at her watch, then picked up her cell phone and called Lu Yun. She told her about the project and asked her to invest 20 million. Lu Yun immediately agreed. Xiaofang then called Xiahua, told him the matter, and asked him if he could arrange for someone from your Hangzhou company to come over tomorrow to discuss it in detail. No, Sister Xiaofang, we are a solid investment trio. You and Sister Lu Yun have both invested, so I will definitely be indispensable. As long as you are here for due diligence and post-investment management, I can worry less and don't have to worry about anything. I am what mainland China calls foolish people with too much money, and besides, it is Brother Zhang's project, so I don't need to know too much about it, Xiahua said on the phone. Then it's settled, you give 20%, Xiaofang asked. Okay, it's decided, Xiahua said. After hanging up the phone, Xiaofang and Zhang Chen said, Tuxian Yuan cannot be used. Now we need to think of a name for this company. The name should be related to catering, but it should not be so straightforward. People will think it is a restaurant at first glance. The layout is too small. It is best it's a bit ambiguous and a bit new, like Japan's late-night kitchen or something like that. I have one, Zhang Chen heard Xiaofang say and immediately thought of it. Xiaofang looked at him, and Zhang Chen said, Ang Li has a movie called Diet Men and Women. This company can be called Diet Men and Women Catering Service Co., Limited. Xiaofang clapped her hands and shouted, okay, let's call it this. Next, we discussed the candidates for the company. Xiaofang asked Zhang Chen. Can your Tuxianjiayuan hotel be separated from Huihuan? It is impossible for this company to have a layperson as its chairman. Zhang Chen said, we can't leave now. Originally, the most suitable candidate for the chairman is Huihuan. If she can't leave, there is no other choice but you. You are not an amateur at catering. When Huihuan can leave, you can let her go. Come and serve as the chairman of food and drink, Xiaofang said. To make it easier for you to use, you can transfer Xiaoli to be the CEO, and leave the half-acre field to Su Qiaxin. Zhang Chen thought about it and thought it would be more appropriate for Xiaoli to come over. Thank you, Lu, it's really annoying. On the road to a nation, Zipanjiang 1, frivolous, romantic Sakura frequently flips through books. Hydrogen Oxide Sterilization and Disinfection Knowledge Bureau, Book Friend 120906144810941, Book Friend 201905281830305444's Monthly Pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening, everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 2028. The next day, Zhang Chen was very busy. As soon as they arrived at the company in the morning, Lu Ligan and Zhang Mushin brought designers from Jingxiu Design Institute over. Zhang Chen opened the drawings one by one and told them what needed to be modified. According to what he said, I will send it to him after modification. Zhang Mushin asked, everyone has already entered the site, can I do the foundation first? Zhang Chen said yes. The land Lu Ligan got this time was all slopes and wasteland. It needed to be leveled and compacted first, and then given a period of natural settlement before he started digging earthwork and doing underground engineering. Each design plan was revised and restructured. The time for submission for approval can be left to the construction team. Logically speaking, all construction projects need to be approved before construction, but in reality, for small projects like theirs, as long as it is relevant, everyone will turn a blind eye and allow you to apply for approval while building. Zhang Mushan and the others left, and Zhang Chen told Lu Ligan that he wanted to be a food man and woman. Lu Ligan also thought this project was good and said with a smile, "I haven't seen you all night, why do you really want to start again? Where did you get the inspiration?" "Thank you," Zhang Chen said. "Thank me? Does it have anything to do with me? Yesterday you brought the wine." I was inspired later when I watched the waiter come up to collect the tableware. Zhang Chen said. Haha, there are business opportunities everywhere in life. There is no need to be pretentious, Lu Ligan said. I am very optimistic about this project. Do you want me to participate? Go away, I regret our partnership with Renjia Tourism, and I want you to mess around with it. You should concentrate on doing your Renjia Tourism well, Zhang Chen said. Besides, not all your money is there. People's tourism, where can you still have money to invest? Isn't it just 20 million? I can ask Tan Shahan to borrow it, Lu Ligan said. Shameless, when did you, Lu Ligan, even ask a woman to borrow money? Everything I earned was given to her, even my salary. After I corrected my behavior, my monthly expenses were very low, including food and cigarette money. I couldn't even spend my salary, Lu Ligan explained. You still have the nerve to say that half of the meal is for me, Zhang Chen scolded. Lu Ligan laughed loudly. I chatted with you while eating, and the chat fee is enough to pay for the meal. Do I still want you? Zhang Chen glared at him, then waved his hand. Forget it, in a word, you have to die. When Zhang Chen said this, Lu Ligan didn't force himself any further. Zhang Chen went on to blast him outside. You can go back to your office, I want to talk about something. Who is coming? Lu Ligan asked. Hui Huan. Holy shit, are you two hiding something? Hui Huan wants me to avoid you when she comes. I'm here to help you come up with ideas, Lu Ligan shouted. We'll discuss the idea later in the evening when the second batch arrives and we have dinner together. I'd better ask you to get out now. If you are here, any serious matter will be turned into an informal one by you, Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan said. Lu Ligan stared at Zhang Chen for a while and then said, Zhang Chen, why do I feel that you are a little nervous? It's quite a bit, Zhang Chen said. Last night, I was tossing and turning over this matter and couldn't sleep. Do you think it's weird or not? Investing in such a small project will be wasted and it won't touch me at all. I'm nervous. What? I really feel stressed. Am I getting old? When I was young, I wasn't so nervous even if I didn't have a penny in my pocket. Lu Ligan nodded. I think so. That's not right, Zhang Chen said. I forgot to tell you that Yang Chen gave me 2,000 acres of land to build a logistics base. I will bring the second-hand goods there tomorrow just to talk about this matter. That project will be better than the food and beverage project. Men and women invest more, so why don't I feel nervous? What's the point? The logistics space is your mature business. You are sure that you can make money if you do it? What are you worried about? This is an unknown quantity for you and the future is unpredictable. Of course you have to be nervous. In fact, if you decide to do it, when I was working in the tourism industry, I was also nervous. We are indeed getting old. When we get older, if we can't do this, it's not that we won't make money, but that we can't afford to lose face. Lu Ligan said, and Zhang Chen nodded. He felt that this was probably the reason. Especially when he saw that Zhang Xiangbei's career was done in an orderly manner, the pressure not to lose seemed to suddenly increase. Hui Huan clicked on the open door twice, then walked in and asked, Mr. Zhang, are you looking for me? Zhang Chen said yes. When Lu Ligan saw Hui Huan come in, he stood up and was about to leave. Hui Huan asked, do you think I am the god of plague? Why do you have to leave as soon as I come? Lu Ligan looked at Zhang Chen and said, someone wants to whisper to you. They think I'm in the way here, so I can't leave. Hui Huan's face turned red. Fortunately, Lu Ligan had already walked out of the door with a smile and didn't notice. Because of Lu Ligan's words, The two people who stayed in the office looked a little embarrassed. Zhang Chen and Hui Huan said, "Don't listen to his nonsense." Hui Huan said softly, "I know." Zhang Chen sat down on the sofa and asked Hui Huan to sit too. Hui Huan walked away and walked to the desk. She picked up Zhang Chen's teacup and looked at it. It still contained the overnight tea from last night. Hui Huan went to the bathroom, poured the tea leaves, made tea for Zhang Chen again, came back and put it on the coffee table in front of Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen asked, "You don't want to drink?" Hui Huan shook her head. Zhang Chen told Hui Huan the whole idea of eating men and women. Hui Huan listened quietly. After Zhang Chen finished speaking, he asked Hui Huan, "Do you think this project can be operated?" Hui Huan thought for a moment and said, "Yes, it can be operated." "Is it difficult?" Zhang Chen asked. "It's not very difficult, although there are still differences. The key depends on the customer's acceptance," Hui Huan said. "You said the difference, what's the difference?" Zhang Chen asked. "The kitchens of ordinary families are still different from our kitchens. The stove is not powerful enough to hold a large oil pan, and the water used to blanch ingredients is also different. For example, leafy vegetables, why do the ones blanched at home always not have the color of a hotel? It looks good and it's very simple. If the stove is not powerful enough and the blanching time is too long, the color will be a little off, but if it doesn't take that long, it won't be enough. The same goes for the oil pan." Hui Huan said, and Zhang Chen nodded. He felt that this was indeed the case. For example, when making fried shrimps, the oil temperature in the oil pan at home was never high enough. Compared with the fried shrimps in the hotel, the oil temperature was not as good as that in the hotel. It feels so crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. However, this problem can also be solved, Hui Huan said. You can just bring a single head high burning stove. A small steel bottle is enough for one meal. It doesn't take up much space. But the chef needs to retraining allows him to adapt to the environment and conditions that change every day. Most chefs need a few days to adapt to a new kitchen. However, people are forced to come out. If the conditions are always like this, you have to adapt even if you don't adapt, right? Just like me, I had to be able to cook tables of dishes in such a small kitchen. Now it's not the same in a kitchen this big. Zhang Chen nodded and said, "I still need your help when the time comes. I'm only half a bucket full of water." Hui Huan giggled, "It's all my company's business. Whether I help or not is not something I should do." Zhang Chen then told Hui Huan about the personnel arrangement of food and drinking men and women. He also told Hui Huan to ask her to bring out someone as soon as possible who can take charge of Tuxiang Garden, so that she can come over to the food and drinking men and women be the chairman. "I still like to be in Tuxiang Jiayuan, watching the kitchen every day, communicating directly with customers every day, and seeing their feedback on our dishes and services from their faces," Hui Huan said. "Xiao Li is here, that's it, she can take care of it." While the two were talking, Xiao Li arrived. Zhang Chen asked her to sit down and told her about the project of Food and Drinking Man and Woman and his plan to let her serve as the CEO of Food and Drinking Man and Woman. Xiao Li became frightened upon hearing this. She says, "Hotel? Mr. Zhang, I have never been in charge of a hotel. Please spare me." Zhang Chen glared at her and cursed, "Then before you took charge of the clothing company, did you manage the clothing company? But I also started by selling clothes. This hotel, I only know how to eat. If I can't kill a chicken, how can I manage the hotel?" Xiao Li said with a sad face. "It's nothing to kill a chicken. I'll give you a week and I'll make sure you can even learn to debone a whole chicken." Hui Huan comforted Xiao Li and said, "Don't worry, managing a hotel is not much harder than managing a specialty store. You can manage so many specialty stores in the past, and leave so many hotels to you, there will be no problem. If you manage people well, you can manage the hotel well." Hui Huan is right. You don't need to cook on the stove yourself. What are you afraid of? As long as the people below are taken care of, the hotel will be taken care of, Zhang Chen said. But those chefs seem to be very fierce, and they even have knives in their hands, Xiaoli said. Zhang Chen and Hui Huan both laughed. Zhang Chen said, every lathe in the workshop still has scissors in their hands. When you should scold them, why don't you still scold them, so you're not afraid? One sentence made Xiaoli speechless. Hui Huan said to Xiaoli. Come on, Xiaoli, let me teach you. These people in the hotel may seem fierce to you, but in fact they are all bullying. The chefs are all craftsmen. If you don't know anything about craftsmen, they will definitely bully you. They will climb on your head, but if you can take it out with your hands, they won't dare to fool you. I just don't understand anything, Xiaoli said. You don't know how to learn, can I teach you? Okay. I promise that by the time the first hotel opens, you will be familiar with all the processes in the kitchen, so that not only will they not dare to fool you, but this will also bring you closer to us. The best way to build a relationship between chefs is that the chef is a clumsy talker and doesn't have many words, but I admire him for his real skills. If you have real skills, you can control him. Zhang Chen listened to what Hui Huan said to Xiaoli and felt that Hui Huan was talking about herself. Hui Huan had never taken the chef-level examination and had no certificate. But she was in the kitchen, and as soon as she made a move, even Fu Fatty, there were only a few first-class chefs in the country at that time, and I admired them all, let alone these young chefs now. Then how do I learn? Xiaoli asked. Follow me from this afternoon, start by sharpening the knife, and then cut radishes and shred potatoes for me every day. You have to taste all the seasonings in the kitchen and remember their names and tastes. Hui Huan remembered it. She turned to Zhang Chen and said, tomorrow I will take Xiaoli to Sanya. Zhang Chen said yes, and Xiaoli asked, why should I go to Sanya? Hui Huan looked at Xiaoli and said, the chef profession is very good. I will take you to my master and ask him to accept you as his apprentice. I beg him and he will accept you. You can worship him as your master, when you meet other chefs in the future, as long as you say that you are Fatty Fu's apprentice, no one will dare to underestimate you, let alone fool you. Fatty Fu is now well known in the chef world. He is not only one of the 5 judges in Hainan province for the National Senior Technician Assessment. You must know that Hainan has the largest concentration of world-renowned hotels in the country, and every hotel has an executive chef. They are all well known, and to be the leader among them is of course extraordinary. What makes Fatty Fu even more famous is that he has appeared on TV 3 times in a row and served as a judge for the National God of Cookery competition. He is not the stupid chef, Hui Huan said. Is his signature, Fatty Fu. In the National God of Cookery competition in the second half of this year, Fatty Fu will still be a judge. No matter how good a chef you are, you might fall into his hands at some point. In this case, Hui Huan will be your senior sister, Xiaoli. Thank you soon, senior sister, Zhang Chen shouted to Xiaoli. Xiaoli came to her senses and quickly smiled and held her hands towards Hui Huan. Thank you, senior sister. Thank you, Tin Soldier, for ranking third from top to bottom, flipping through books every day, catching 2 fishes, and rewarding me at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Thank you for your monthly votes from A, Kingbo, GH7777, Dragon, and Felongzation that year. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 2029. In the afternoon, the second goods arrived, and Ben Mushin Group held a temporary shareholders meeting. Zhang Chen told everyone about the food and drinking for men and women project and the construction of a new logistics base in Yongcheng. Of course, there was no objection to the result. Pass. When talking about transferring Xiaoli to food and drink as CEO, Su Qiaxin said, NND, then I will become the polished commander. Qian left, Li Wei was transferred, and now Xiaoli is being transferred again. Zhang Chen smiled and said, people are afraid that there are too many people and few positions, so it is difficult to arrange them. I don't see you like this. You have positions but you are afraid of few people. Why don't you promote 2 people? Okay, I'll lead 2,000-mile horses out, Su Qiaxin said. Ji Ling shouted, Qiaxin, are you comparing yourself to Bol? No, Bol is a stinky man with a big beard, Su Qiaxin said. How do you know that Bol has a big beard? Xiaoli asked in surprise. Have you ever seen people in ancient times who were not bearded? Why are they all bearded? Let me tell you, the main reason is that they did not have razors at that time. Since Philips, Gillette, and Braun, even Guangdong and Zhongfei is like Luhan. Su Qiaxin said, I was going to shoot a Philips razor commercial, and I just filmed Guangdong reaching out to tease me like this. Oops, where did my big beard go? Everyone couldn't help but laugh. Su Qiaxin, you are so good. You even know what razor Luhan uses, Cao Minfang said on the screen on the wall. Of course, our Xiao Wu has at least one thing in common with brother Luhan, which is their razor, Su Qiaxin said. Everyone inside and outside the conference room almost burst out laughing. When it comes to the completion of the logistics base in Yongcheng, their clothing factory in Sky City will be moved to Yongcheng, Hagen said. There are just not enough houses in the e-commerce industrial park after the garment factory moves here. The current garment factory can be converted into the second phase of the industrial park. Zhang Chen looked at Ji Ling and asked, in your design center, do you think you should go down with the garment factory or stay here in the group company? It's better to stay with the factory. Nowadays, new styles are released at a fast pace. Designers have to run around to find fabrics and confirm the fabrics and process flow. It's inconvenient. It's better to stay with the workshop and warehouse to save trouble, Ji Ling said. Zhang Chen agreed, anyway, the time from here to Sky City is about the same as going to the logistics base in Yongcheng. In the future, there will be factory vehicles that travel between the group and the logistics base in Yongcheng every day. I definitely want to go down, Su Qiaxin said, NND, if this happens, I will be living in 2 places. I can't run back and forth every day. Everyone looked at Xiao Wu, and Zhao Jingjing asked, Xiao Xian, are you afraid of living in 2 places? I'm not afraid. He is away from home for more than 20 days a month. It's almost like living in 2 places. As Su Qiaxin said, everyone started laughing again. Xiao Wu's face turned a little red. He glared at Su Qiaxin and cursed. It's just a meeting where you talk too much. Zhang Chen also laughed. He felt that it was not Lu Ligan, but Su Qiaxin. This was the case every time a shareholders meeting was held. At the beginning, everyone was serious, but in the end she always led them astray and ended up laughing and joking. Zhang Chen, he tapped the table with his knuckles, stood up and said. Meeting dismissed. Huo followed Zhang Chen back to his office. Zhang Chen talked to him about arranging a processing workshop for food and drinking men and women in each logistics space. The first batch of branches of food and drinking men and women, Zhang Chen plans to open in cities with their logistics bases, so there will be 37 companies. The second guy asked how much area was needed, and Zhang Chen said it didn't need to be very big, just 1 to 200 square meters, divided into 2 floors. You're forced to do this, instructor. I can dig it out from between my toes in such a small area, said the second-rate guy. Zhang Chen scolded, you idiot, could you please stop putting forced raised and instructor together next time? It sounds like forced raised instructor. The idiot laughed and said, then I say, instructor, I was forced to raise you, is that okay? After the idiot finished speaking, he laughed, and Zhang Chen cursed, I know you, so I'm just unlucky. Then you can pretend you don't know me from now on, "You're a coward." The idiot stood up with a smile and called to the door, "Little ant, are you here?" Xiao Fang and Lu Yun came in from outside the door. They came with the drafted Articles of Association of Zhejiang Catering Men's and Women's Catering Service Co., Limited. Last night, Xiao Fang completed the enterprise registration procedures online on the official website of the Provincial Market Supervision and Administration Bureau. Xia Huifubon Financial Holdings bought shares in the name of an investment company in Hangzhou, and the three of them had signed their names and stamped their official seals. Zhang Chen signed where his signature was needed. Xiao Fang and Lu Yun went to Zhao Jingjing's place to stamp their official seal. Zhang Chen and the second guy went downstairs. The second guy went to Lu Ligan's place. Zhang Chen didn't go. He went directly to the Tuxianjiayuan Hotel. It was already past 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The chef in the hotel's kitchen goes to work at 4 o'clock. Now, except for the helper washing vegetables at the sink, who is already busy, there is no one in the entire kitchen. When Zhang Chen walked in, the ceiling lights in the entire kitchen had not been turned on. Only the end of the long row of piers had been turned on. The work table lamp on the shelf above had been turned on. Xiaoli stood under the lamp, frowning and cutting potatoes. On her left-hand side was a basket of peeled potatoes, and on her right-hand side was a stainless steel basin filled with water. She will cut these potatoes into slices first, and then cut them into shreds. The shredded potatoes will be soaked in a stainless steel basin to prevent the shredded potatoes from oxidizing and turning black. Zhang Chen walked over and asked, "Can you sharpen the knife now?" "I should be able to do it, but Hui Huan sharpened this one today." "I'll try to sharpen it myself tomorrow," Xiaoli said fiercely. "If I can't even sharpen the knife, I'll die." Zhang Chen looked at the shredded potatoes cut by Xiaoli. Each one was as thick as chopsticks, but the thickness was even. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Not bad, quite presentable." "What does it look like?" Xiaoli said with a sad face. "Hui Huan said that the shredded potatoes I cut can only be used as staff meals in the evening and cannot be served at all. The knife here is too heavy and is 2 times heavier than the ones I have at home. The handle was heavy, and I felt like I couldn't cut vegetables, and my hands were so sore." The two people were talking. Hui Huan came from a distance, walked to her side, reached out and slapped Xiaoli on the back of the head, and cursed. "I forgot again, I don't want my finger anymore." Xiaoli said "Oh" and quickly retracted her fingers. "Wrong, wrong, get out of the way," Hui Huan said. Xiaoli stepped aside, picked up the knife and handed it to Hui Huan. Hui Huan didn't take it and stared at her. Xiaoli said "Oh" and quickly put the knife flat on the chopping board. This was because she remembered Hui Huan's confession. She knows that in the kitchen, except for cutting vegetables, the knife must be placed firmly on the chopping board. It is most taboo to hold the knife in your hand, gesture with others, or pass it around. The working space in the kitchen is very small, and everyone is busy. Someone might suddenly appear next to you at any time. With a knife in your hand, it is easy to accidentally injure someone. If you put it on the chopping board, if others want to use it, you can take it yourself. It is best not to leave the knife outside the scope of the chopping board. Also, in the kitchen, the knife is what the chef uses to eat. Everyone has his own dedicated knife, and everyone is very careful. Cherish, don't use other people's knives without their permission. Hui Huan demonstrated to Xiaoli and said. In this way, at any time, the 5 fingers must be flexed, with the thumb at the back and the blade surface against the knuckles. The knuckles position the knife so that the knife will be stable. The distance between the top and bottom of the knife should not exceed the knuckles. Your fingertips crawl back on the ingredients. How finely you want to cut is determined by the distance your fingertips move back. At any time, the fingertips will not appear under the blade. If you make a mistake, the most likely result is that the knife will peel off a piece of skin on your knuckles. The kind that can cut your own fingers will be a joke in the kitchen, it will definitely be the movements were wrong, very amateurish. When Huihuan was talking, she had already cut a potato into thin slices. She put her left hand against the cutting board. The potato slices were like a deck of playing cards, one on top of the other. They were spread neatly on the cutting board, and then she started when cutting into shreds, the knife clicks and clicks, making people dizzy. Huihuan said, "This is knife jumping, the basic skill of a chef. You must learn how to jump knife within a week, otherwise the movement will be too slow. When a chef cuts vegetables, he is actually the same as a musician. He has a rhythm in his heart. Just like that, da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da-da, there is a rhythm in your heart, which will calm your heart and you will not feel bored no matter how much you chop." When Huihuan was talking, a pile of shredded potatoes had been cut, each one as thin as a sewing needle. Xiaoli clicked her tongue and said, "If I could cut it so finely, I'd die. It's too easy for you to die. It's just a basic skill. Every chef in the back kitchen here knows it, and you will soon be able to do it too." Huihuan said, reaching out to pick up the shredded potatoes that Xiaoli had cut and soaked in water from the stainless steel basin on the side. She nodded and said, "It's not bad. Although it's a bit thick, it's not easy to cut it evenly. It's promising. The biggest fear is that the ingredients are cut into different sizes and uneven thickness. In that case, it will be difficult to cook them on the wok side. Some of the dishes are cooked, some are cooked, and some are not cooked well. This is why learning to be a chef starts with learning knife skills." There was still half a basket of potatoes. The kitchen helper brought another basket of potatoes. Zhang Chen felt a little distressed when he saw it. His hands were already sore. He said to Xiaoli, "The first day, you can cut a little less." "No, I must cut 5 baskets today. I just have trouble with potatoes," Xiaoli said. "Yes, to learn to be a chef, you need to have this kind of energy," Huihuan said. As she spoke, she took out a row of 5 band-aids from her pocket, stuffed them into Xiaoli's pocket, and said to her, "You haven't seen blood on your hands yet. If you see blood, just wrap it with a band-aid. Don't make a fuss. No one will sympathize with you. If you learn to be a chef, you will never see blood on your hands." Xiaoli said yes. Zhang Chen smiled and walked away, thinking to himself, when this woman becomes ruthless, she is really ruthless. Thank you to Guandian Electrical and Mechanical, Wenming Reading, Zhao 1017, and Book Friends 201809062232049344 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 2030. The 3 of them returned to Zhang Chen's office after dinner. It was already past 9 o'clock. Erhuo and Lu Ligan said, "I'm forced to go back to Hangzhou. You always have to take me to eat meat." I haven't eaten meat for a long time," Lu Ligan scolded back. "If you don't go, I've already learned the lesson." The second guy went to pull Lu Lapole and said to him, Go, you idiot, I want to see you perform hey, and you don't go to have sex, you just go to the karaoke bar to sing, drink, cuddle up with your little sister, and you don't have to show off, so I will show off. No, there is only one bottom left out of the total kettle. Of course, it is left to my wife, who is forced to raise her, so she can go around. Lu Ligan laughed loudly, pretending to be pulled up by the idiot, but in fact he had already stood up, and the 2 of them went out together. They would not call Zhang Chen for this kind of thing, and they would not go if they knew he was called. Don't be polite to him anymore. I don't know if it's the hot water bottle thing or it's Lu Ligan's. Anyway, I can't escape the two of them. It is said that no matter how brave a man is, he will only have one hot water bottle in his life. No matter whether it is relying on his hand or something else, if he doesn't have it, he won't have it. Why? You can't replenish it, so you have to cherish your essence. Relying on your hands is a waste. Zhang Chen sat there, thinking about the thermos bottle, smiled, stood up and walked to the window, looked outside for a while, then walked out and took the elevator downstairs. The public area of Tuxianjiayuan Hotel, including the milk tea shop, tea house, and foot bath shop, is still very lively. Those who have finished dinner move here from the hotel to sober up and continue the topics that were left unfinished at the banquet. Just go to tea houses and cafes to sit, or go to a foot bath shop to lie down and continue their conversation. I don't know since when, the cafes in Hangzhou have slowly begun to change. At first, they were selling tea in cafes, and now they are selling coffee in tea houses. After all, tea is what everyone drinks. Coffee? Not really. In the hotel lobby, all the guests had left, and 2/3 of the lights were turned off. The lights on the top of the passage were mainly left on. When Zhang Chen came in, the supervisor told him that there were still a few tables of guests in the private rooms that had not left. Zhang Chen walked to the back kitchen and saw that the entire back kitchen was empty. The floor was wet and shining, and had been washed clean with water. All other lights in the back kitchen were turned off, except for the light above the wok. But the stove had gone out, and the chef who was left on duty was lying on the stainless steel cooking table, playing with his mobile phone. This is Hui Huan's rule. She said that in their Tuxiang garden, the chef must leave later than the guests. No matter how late the guests eat, the waiters are not allowed to chase the guests away. They are not allowed to even hint that they need to get off work. The same is true for the kitchen staff. There must be a chef on duty, and he must be there whenever the guests want to add dishes. Guest, do you drive the guests out of your home? There are guests who haven't left yet, so you go out by yourself and leave the guests at home, Hui Huan asked everyone. Zhang Chen heard an open door on the left side of the kitchen that was still lighted, and the voices of two people talking came from inside. The voices were very soft, a little tired and hoarse, but in the empty and silent kitchen, spread far away, and there was a buzzing echo. Zhang Chen walked towards that side, which was the seasoning warehouse in their back kitchen. Zhang Chen walked in and saw Xiaoli holding a bottle of pure water under her arm, a chopstick in her right hand, and a water glass in her left hand. Wan took out a condiment from the shelf, opened the lid, and Xiaoli put her chopsticks in, dipped some in it, and then put it in her mouth to taste. Then he put his chopsticks in the glass of water, picked up the water under his arm, took a sip, rinsed his mouth, and spit the water into a trash can in the corner. Hui Huan then told Xiaoli what kind of seasoning this was, what its function was, whether it was used for Chinese or Western food, which dishes or pasta it was usually used in, and what the approximate dosage would be. While Hui Huan was talking, Xiaoli was confused. Stop and nod. Seeing Zhang Chen come in, both of them stopped. Zhang Chen asked Xiaoli. You haven't gone back yet. It's not done yet. Come back after it's done, Xiaoli said. Where is the son? My husband takes care of him, Zhang Chen asked. He didn't know how to take care of me. I called my mother over. From then on, she stayed at my house and helped me take care of the kids. I didn't have to fly around, Xiaoli said. Didn't you say that your mother is that? Can she and your husband get along well? Zhang Chen asked. Then what should we do? We have to get along even if we are not getting along well, Xiaoli said. When I called my husband in the afternoon, he was gibbering and told me that he was miserable and would be bored to death at home from now on. He was so annoying. I told him, if you really can't bear it and are annoyed, you can hide in the shampoo room next door to the community. Zhang Chen and Hui Huan laughed, and Zhang Chen said, yes, you should be cruel. I've been forced into this by you, And you still don't sympathize with me, boss, Xylee shouted. Jiang Chen quickly said, okay, I sympathize with you. The next day, Hui Huan took Xylee to Sanya. Early in the morning, Xiao Fang and her mother sent Zhang Xiangzi to kindergarten. Jiang Chen was still having breakfast at his parents' house. Lu Ligan and Erguai arrived. Jiang Chen's mother quickly greeted them for breakfast. The two of them were not polite and sat down. To eat, Jiang Chen asked Lu Ligan. What are you here for? I'll accompany you, Lu Ligan said. Jiang Chen knew in his heart that Lu Ligan was afraid that he would be thin-skinned. When he saw the people in Yongcheng, he was embarrassed to say some things, but he could say it, laughing and cursing, and all he gained were benefits. Jiang Chen stopped ringing. The three of them finished breakfast and did not leave immediately. Lu Ligan and Erhuo went to the workshop of two land reclamation warriors at the back and chatted with Lao Zhang for a while. Lu Ligan and Lao Zhang said that by the Gentian River the townhouse has been renovated. Uncle, when will you come over and be our neighbors? Jingxiu home is to be demolished, and the land acquisition and storage center has given each family a resettlement fee, but everyone needs to find transitional housing for 1.5 years. The land here will be auctioned next week. The auction contract clearly states that the developer must complete the relocation housing in the community within 15 months. This is actually one of the conditions Director Chu set for Tan Shahen and the others. 15 months, this place will be demolished and then construction will begin. The time is really tight. This alone can scare away many developers, but Tan Shahen and the others already have a plan and can do it. Lao Zhang snorted, patted his carpentry bench with his hand, and said to Lu Ligan. I don't like what's good there. If I move there, what will I do? Yes, I have helped you build a workshop in the underground parking garage. I know you can't live without this. I will take you there to see it tomorrow, Lu Ligan said. Lao Zhang was happy when he heard what Lu Ligan said. He rolled his eyes at Jiang Chen and said to Lu Ligan. Pol, you are more thoughtful than that guy. No matter how many times I told him, he didn't even fart. Lu Ligan laughed loudly and said, then drive that person out. Jiang Chen quickly said, let's go, stop being so nagging. When he walked back to the house and saw Jiang Chen's mother, Lu Ligan said to her. Auntie, please move here quickly, so that Tan Shahen and I can eat from you every day. The food you cook is even more delicious than their Tuxianjai Yuan. By the way, I have bought the largest double-door refrigerator. Enough for you to let go. Jiang Chen's mother was very happy after hearing this. She looked at Jiang Chen and wanted to ask him when he planned to move. Lu Ligan said. Don't look at him. It doesn't matter whether he moves or not. When you've finished packing, just call me and I'll have someone come over to help you move. My logistics base can also do it. We can bring a fleet of vehicles and move everything in one trip, Erhuo said. Jiang Chen's mother smiled and said hello to them. Let's go, Jiang Chen urged Lu Ligan and Erhuo. The second-hand driver drove out of Splendid Home and walked slowly forward until he reached the intersection of Baoku and stopped at a red light. In the traffic on the bicycle lane next to him, there was a girl wearing a sparkly suit. Wearing a pink tight-fitting bicycle sportswear and a helmet on her head, she is riding a racing car. She has a very voluptuous figure, but her face is afraid of being blown apart by the wind. She wears a mask so that her face cannot be seen. The second-rate guy pressed down the glass of the passenger seat, tilted his head and shouted outside, "Beauty, beauty, take off your mask and show me." The woman glanced at him, turned around and ignored him, and continued shouting. "Beauty, you are so beautiful. It's a pity that you are wearing a mask. Where are you going? Do you want me to see you off?" Lu Ligan, who was sitting in the passenger seat, laughed wildly. The woman turned her head and glared at them, cursing, "Crazy." Someone nearby took out a mobile phone and took pictures of them. Jiang Chen, who was sitting in the back row, quickly turned his head away. When the red light turned to green, the woman rushed forward quickly. Zhang Chen cursed. "You are a scoundrel, you have been photographed. Be careful if you put it online." The second-hand guy said slowly, "What are you afraid of? This is a car with a pole, and it was raised by force. Someone took a picture of the license plate, and it was him who was found. He was waiting for Tan Shahan to clean up. What are you worried about?" Zhang Chen laughed loudly, and Lu Ligan cursed, The second-rate guy continued, "Last night, the phone number I left for my little sister at the KTV was also Zanza's phone number." "Holy shit," Lu Ligan shouted, and everyone in Zhang Chen fell down laughing. The second-rate guy said, "What the hell are you doing? Who asked you to show off? You were forced to give me so much extra tips. My little sister, don't call you to book a private room. If you call me like this, I will be ignored. When my wife heard that my leg was broken, it didn't matter to you. Didn't you say that your relationship with Tan Shahan is rock solid now?" Lu Ligan picked up his mobile phone and took a picture of Erhuo. He said to Erhuo, "It doesn't matter. If someone posts it online, I will comment below, post the photo, and say it was the car driven by this pervert, and the woman might come out to confirm it." The idiot's expression changed, and he shouted, delete it, you forced me to delete it." Lu Ligan put away his cell phone and said proudly, "I still can't kill you. Thank you for the reward of 2 fishes. Thank you. And how, LW. Norvi, book friends 202009031727593111, Sand Dust Mood, Yuangzi, Leisure List, Little Gatekeeper, Zipanjiang 1 for your monthly pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 2031. The second guy drove the car and walked forward slowly. Zhang Chen said to him, "Drive faster." "What's the rush?" Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen looked at his watch and said, "We agreed to meet at the project location at 10 o'clock. Then we'll be there at 10:30. Lu Ligan said, "Zhang Chen, this is an investment promotion project. Where to attract investment? Local government officials don't just hope for the stars and the moon to attract investors. How can there be such a project? Like you can come and go as soon as you call them, and you have to show your attitude. Do you understand? Don't think that it will be different when you return to Yongcheng, and it should be even more so when you return to Yongcheng. They are all people who eat people without spitting out their bones. You have to show your attitude well so that you won't be passive and can negotiate terms." Zhang Chen didn't respond. Then he thought about it and cursed, "When you went to get the land a few years ago, why didn't you show off your posture and be so honest?" "Can this be the same?" Lu Ligan said, "My project is a small project. Others don't even look at it. I'm giving you face by helping you. I'm begging others, how dare I show off? You, how can I a 100 million investment project? It's the other way around, do you understand?" He doesn't understand. He was raised by force. He is the best investor and is infinitely considerate of the government, the second-hand guy said from the side. "I really don't know how you manage to maintain so many logistic spaces and places." Lu Ligan cursed, and the idiot smiled and said, "You were raised by force. You don't know this. When you were away, your instructor, Tan Shahan, was in charge. She negotiated many projects." Lu Ligan rolled his eyes at the idiot and said, "It's useless for you to provoke me. I know it after thinking about it." Zhang Chen was sitting in the back and thinking that he had never experienced any difficult negotiations. Half of those projects were won with the help of Sun Ho and Huang Jianren. For these projects, there was no need to negotiate at all. It was a fixed price, and it was all in one piece. Tan Shahan helped him negotiate the low price, and Jiang Chen remembered that it was Zheng Wei who helped him get the project in Beijing. He glanced at Lu Ligan in front of him. He couldn't tell Lu Ligan about this. Huang Meili, who came back from the United States, and Zheng Wei who was in Europe, what a great unity for the people of the world. Jiang Chen had made an appointment with Vice Mayor Li on the phone yesterday to meet at the project location at 10 o'clock. This way they would not have to go to Yongcheng City, but would get off the expressway at Anrankau. Vice Mayor Li and the others also come to Yongcheng City. It was already 10:10 when Jiang Chen and the others got off the expressway. What Jiang Chen didn't expect was that after passing the toll station, he saw Vice Mayor Li and his party of 3 cars parked on the roadside. Vice Mayor Li and several people stood in the cold wind. Jiang Chendun felt embarrassed and quickly asked the second-hand guy to stop the car. He got out of the car and walked towards Vice Mayor Li and the others. He held Vice Mayor Li's hand and said to him, "Sorry, leader, we are late. There was a bit of traffic on our way out of the city." Vice Mayor Li smiled and said, "It doesn't matter, we have just arrived. We are afraid that you can't find a place, so we will block you here. Let's go, let's get in the car and go." Vice Mayor Li took a step forward, shook hands with Lu Ligan who was following Jiang Chen, and said, "I knew you would come too." Everyone got in the car, and the second guy drove behind Vice Mayor Li and his car. As soon as they got in the car, the second guy asked Lu Ligan to take out the stopwatch on his phone to check the time. Lu Ligan asked, "What do you want to do?" "Calculate the distance," Huo said. Lu Ligan understood, took out his mobile phone and pressed the stopwatch. After driving for 7 minutes and 35 seconds at an average speed of about 70 miles, we arrived at the project location. A large area of land was being leveled, and we couldn't see the edge at a glance. There were several factory buildings with colored steel tiles standing in the distance. There, 6 or 7 bulldozers and excavators roared on the construction site. This piece of land has Hangzhijing Expressway on one side and National Highway 320 on the other. It is sandwiched in the middle of the two roads. The flowers and trees on both sides of the Hangzhijing Expressway block the view, otherwise Jiang Chen and the others would not be able to come and go to Yongcheng. You will definitely find such a large piece of land here. The second-hand man just got out of the car and liked the place as soon as he saw it. He quietly said to Jiang Chen, "Okay, if you're forced to raise a child, this place is fine." When we got here, everyone started to introduce each other. We came with Vice Mayor Li. Jiang Chen and Lu Ligan basically knew each other. They were the director of the Municipal Government Office, the directors of the Land and Resources Bureau and the Development and Reform Bureau. Lu Ligan did not need to introduce, and Jiang Chen introduced the second-rate guy to Vice Mayor Li and the others. Vice Mayor Li and Jiang Chen said, "The original plan here was to build a development zone. Later we discussed that if you, Mr. Jiang, can come over, this whole area will be given to you." "How big is it?" Lu Ligan asked. "Within the red line, there are 2012.3 acres," said the director of the Land and Resources Bureau. Jiang Chen and Lu Ligan knew that Yongcheng already had 8 or 9 development zones, large and small. The conditions for real estate development in these development zones are not yet mature, otherwise they would have been developed like Hangzhou. Half of the land in the development zone near Yongcheng City was taken away by Tan Shuhen and others in the past 2 years. For real estate development. If there were another development zone covering an area of 2,000 acres here, the fate would not be much better than other places. This place is already on the edge of Yongcheng, more than 40 kilometers away from the city. It is very important for local enterprises in Yongcheng. In terms of location, it is remote, but for Jiang Chen and his logistics base, because it is the land closest to Hangzhou in Yongcheng, it is actually the most suitable. In fact, there is nothing to see. Even on the ground, there is not a single flower. The main reason is the geographical location. A group of people stood in the open space for more than 10 minutes. Today is a cloudy day with a cold wind, Deputy Mayor Li said. Let's go back to the city. I'll treat you to dinner at noon and we'll chat while we eat. No more KFC, Lu Ligan asked. Vice Mayor Li laughed and said, it's okay today. There are still 2 openings. One is to receive the United Front targets, and the other is to attract investment. These 2 can still be entertained, and it does not violate the regulations. Lu Ligan was cursing in his heart after hearing this. Damn it, my project really wasn't even an investment attraction. It was reduced to just eating KFC. Lu Ligan looked at Zhang Chen, who was smiling at him. It seemed that he had thought of the same question. The Chinese food was placed in the center of Yongcheng. After entering the private room, Vice Mayor Li asked Lu Ligan. Where is your girl? Your girl is not here. Let her come over and drink with us. Of course Yetu is talking about Xiangnan. No one in Yongcheng calls their daughters Yetu, they all call them daughter. Vice Mayor Li called Yetu as a joke. Lu Ligan drove back and said. My girl didn't know I was coming. She must be in the office now. If she knew I was coming, she would definitely run away and even drink together. Everyone laughed, and Vice Mayor Li asked, what, you have a grudge? Lu Ligan deliberately grimaced and sighed, oh, it's hard to explain in words. Su Jianmi I knew that Zhang Chen and Lu Lepol had arrived, so she walked in and said to them. The waiter told me that you, Vice Mayor Li, and several leaders are here, so I came over to take a look. Why, Su Jianmi, if Zhang Chen were not here, you wouldn't even come to drink wine, Deputy Mayor Li asked. Su Jianmi said, how dare you? I didn't dare to disturb the leader. With Zhang Chen here, I got a little bolder and dared to come in and see the leader. You are getting better and better at talking, Su Jianmi, is Lao Ding being educated by you every day at home, Deputy Mayor Li asked. The only one who can educate him is you, Mayor Li. How could I possibly do that, Su Jianmi said. She then turned to Lu Ligan and said. By the way, I just saw Xiang Nan in the cafeteria. Do you want to call her over? Before Lu Ligan spoke, Su Jianmi immediately said, forget it, if Zhang Chen is here, she will definitely come, but if you are here, she won't necessarily come. Everyone in the box burst out laughing. Su Jianmi didn't know what they were laughing at, let alone that her own words had picked up on the previous topic. Vice Mayor Li smiled and said, Lu Ligan, as a father, you have failed a bit. Su Jianmi toasted everyone and said goodbye. People here began to talk about business, but because they were so familiar with each other, they could talk both seriously and jokingly. Lu Ligan asked how much an acre of land was, and Vice Mayor Li said 80,000. 5. There is no sincerity. Why don't you ask for 5? Just 80,000, Lu Ligan said. Vice Mayor Li looked at the other people and said to Lu Ligan, okay, you are the biggest here and you have the final say. Lu Ligan said, you are still the biggest. Once Chrysostom is opened, the 5,000 will be gone. It's settled, it's only 80,001 acres. By the way, we have one more condition. What are the conditions? Vice Mayor Li asked, can't you talk about it together? When you sign the agreement, you pay half of the land transfer fee, and the other half will be paid after the land certificate is obtained, Lu Ligan said. What, Mr. Zhang, are you having financial difficulties? Vice Mayor Li asked Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen had not yet answered. Lu Ligan immediately said, of course there is no difficulty in funding. Then what do you want to do? Come with nothing, Deputy Mayor Li asked with a smile. Half of it costs more than 80 million. Is there anyone who wants more than 80 million, Lu Ligan said, after the agreement is signed, we will immediately start construction and register a new company in Yongcheng. Once the new company is registered, with hundreds of millions of construction funds lying on the books, what are you worried about? Lu Ligan said to the director of the Bureau of Land and Resources, "If you dare, take out the certificate tomorrow and half of the transfer fee. We will pay it tomorrow." Vice Mayor Li waved his hand and shouted, "Okay, I know you, Lu Ligan, are a bad businessman. We can't negotiate with you. Let's have a good time. When can we sign the agreement?" Zhang Chen, who had been sitting silently by the side, spoke at this time, "It will be fine in the afternoon." "Well, you call back and ask them to prepare it, and they will sign it in our conference room later." Vice Mayor Li and the director of the municipal government office said that the director picked up his cell phone and went out to make a call. Vice Mayor Li looked at Zhang Chen and said with a smile, "You can do it, Zhang Chen. He is really rich. For such a big project, you are like buying a bunch of cabbage. It's so refreshing." Zhang Chen smiled and thought to himself, the eating man and woman, still have a lot of things to do, so I don't have time to sit here. Okay, the work is done, our next task is to drink. Vice Mayor Li raised his glass and said to Zhang Chen, Lu Ligan, and the others. "Thank you to Weishir, Tianya Passer 69, Professional Season Formal Wear, Leisure List, Captain Jim, and Shadust Mood for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone."